Good evening. I think I successfully got that started. Pretty sure. I'm live now. All right. Hello, hello on this Sunday evening. Hope everybody has been enjoying a great weekend. My family and I headed out the door late afternoon for a nice walk, and it was sunshiny enough that I was out in a windbreaker. So that was really nice. So I've been seeing all the guesses that people have been making about what this live was about. And no, I'm sorry. Governor Mills is not resigning. That is not what this is about. But she's up for election in November, and we can work hard and get a new governor in here. So let's do that. Hi, Dave. Hi, David. Nice to see you tonight. Let's see, what other guesses did we have? Oh, we had some guesses about, is it about students, more students going to college? It is not. It is not about more students going to college. Let me see if I can pull up some of these other ideas. You guys got really creative on some of these suggestions of what we might be talking about tonight. So let's see, what else? Audrey, I know Audrey had a guess in here today. Hang on one second. Let's see. No masks in the State House starting tomorrow. Well, actually, that is a thing, but that's not what this live is about. But yes, the powers that be have decided that we no longer have to wear masks in the State House. So masks are optional as of tomorrow. And I will, of course, not be wearing a mask in the State House when I go in on Wednesday. And if you come to petition your government at the State House, you will not have to wear a mask either. So I hope to see you at the State House one of these days. And if you come, make sure that you say hello. Let's see about CMP and gas prices. That's a biggie right now, isn't it? CMP and gas prices. Let's see, Moore Mills is resigning. Yeah, let's talk about CMP and gas prices for a minute. So my kids and I, and inflation in general, I guess, my kids and I were at the grocery store a couple weeks ago. Hi, Christine, Ingrid, and Naaman. We were at the grocery store a few weeks ago, and we were buying peanut butter. And as I put a very large jar of peanut butter in the cart, for those of you who know, I have 4 kiddos, 3 of whom eat peanut butter, and that are at home at least. One that is grown and out of the house. And so I was putting peanut butter in my cart, and it was quite expensive because inflation is at 7.5% and climbing. And my 12-year-old said, you should probably get 2 of those because the price is only going to go up. And so I considered the wisdom of that statement for a moment and then put another large jar in the cart. And she was correct. We're already on to that second jar, and prices are continuing to go up. So our peanut butter is going to be more expensive next time we go buy it. Probably should have bought 5 or 10 jars of peanut butter. And then today, my husband got home from the gas station. He generally fills my van up for me, which is great because that means I don't actually have to see how much the gas is costing as it goes into the van. But he did come home today and report in that due to the high price at the pump, to fill our van, which was not on empty, but to fill our van was $72. Which is just astronomical and blows my mind because I think the highest in many years prior to now was maybe $50 or $45 or something like that. And so it is just blowing my mind that we are paying $72 to fill up a minivan. I can't imagine having a truck or an SUV or having to drive an automobile for a business, because the prices are through the roof. And yeah, it does need to end, Erica. It is crazy. Yes, Ingrid, invest in food. I know. Peanut butter and everything else, I should have gotten far more than 2 jars. Erica's Jeep was $90. $90. That is crazy. We live in a rural state and you have to buy gas to get anywhere. I mean, if I'm thinking about, driving my kids to homeschool co-op or driving to Augusta, I only live 35 minutes from Augusta. So when I need to go in to session or to committee, because hopefully committees will be in person soon too, it's crazy the amount of money, and I'm only 35 minutes away. Corey, $250 for his business trucks each. That is bonkers. Yeah, please do share this video, guys. I am going to be sharing some news in just a few minutes. $70 going to Portland, says Audrey. And Billy Bob, yeah, Billy Bob, I saw Billy Bob that day. He filled up his vehicle, $80 twice in one day. He lives down east and he came down my way, and that is an expensive day. Carol Conley filled up $86 for his Jeep today. This is crazy. So Meg is sharing, I'm terrified of the impact this will have on the economy and lower even middle income homes. Absolutely. We live in a state where driving your vehicle around it's not optional. You have to drive to get just about anywhere. And so these prices are just crazy. But these policies are coming out of the policies that have been passed by the left, poor energy policies and reckless spending. And of course, some of it, a lot of it is at the federal level and international level. And there's only so much we can control there. But what I am going to tell you guys definitely has bearing on these gas prices. $4.75 for heating oil the other day. Yeah, it's crazy. We filled up recently and it was, I think, $3.75, and for our propane, $3.75 a gallon, and I know it has gone up since then in just the last 2 weeks. Debbie travels 80 miles a day to work. What used to cost her $35 a week will now be $100. That is crazy. And so, why are we on here tonight? These comments and talking about crazy gas prices and the ways that Maine people are suffering. It's families, small businesses, large businesses, everyone in between. These crazy prices impact everyone. I don't know a single person that is not impacted by the high prices of gasoline and heating fuel. We are still in the middle of winter. And so the price of heating fuel is just drastically affecting Maine families. And so what we are on here tonight, what I'm on here tonight to tell you guys is that, we can't change federal policy, but we can look for a solution closer to home. So today I submitted an after deadline bill. It is an emergency bill, and it is called an Act to Suspend Maine's Gas Tax. So this critical bill, submitted today, would suspend the Maine tax on gasoline for the remainder of 2022. Now, of course, I'd like to make that permanent, but this is a great start. We have got to get some common sense passed in Augusta. So that is what this live is all about. I have put in this post-deadline emergency legislation because Maine people need immediate relief. Usually bills, when they are passed, it takes 3 months for them to be implemented after the legislature ends session. And by making it an emergency bill, we would be able to immediately put it into play at the end of the legislative session. So it's easy to submit a bill, guys. That's like piece of cake. Send an email to the right people, bill is submitted. The details on the bill. Ingrid asks, how much is the gas tax per gallon? So our gas tax is 30 cents per gallon. And so that would be a 30 cent per gallon break on our gas price. We have the ability to do this right now. Earlier this week, the Revenue Forecasting Commission updated its forecast, and previously we thought that we were going to have $822 million in additional tax revenues, but they have adjusted that forecast to additional tax revenues of $1.2 billion. If we have a $1.2 billion surplus, we should be able to get rid of our gas tax for Maine residents, for Maine businesses, for Maine families, and ease that burden a little bit for Maine residents. The rate of inflation is crazy. I alluded to that earlier in my live. It's at 7.5%. And so all these prices are hitting all of us, whether it's groceries or gas. And so, we have the ability here in our state to make a small impact on that bottom line. And so a bill that would remove the 30-cent tax is incredibly important and timely, and I'm going to need all of your help to have a hope of getting it passed. The first hurdle to getting this passed is that this bill will have to go, just even the title alone, will have to go to the Legislative Council, and they will vote on whether this bill is allowed to move forward or not. And so the Legislative Council is meeting later this month. They meet monthly. They just had a special meeting to get rid of the mask mandate, and they'll be meeting later this month. And so they have the ability to vote yes or vote no on this bill moving forward. So Maine people need to make their voices heard. It's incredibly important that the majority and minority leaders hear from you to know that this is a bill that you want passed. And so I will be posting a link on my page after this live that will give you the ability to sign on and say, yes, I want this bill passed. Please hear and allow this bill to pass through, an act to suspend Maine's gas tax. And when you sign up and verify that yes, you want this bill to get passed, that will say a lot to those on Legislative Council when they see a volume of Maine people speaking up to say that this is a bill you want. And I will also need you to call those on the Legislative Council. So Leg Council, as it's called in short, is made up of the majority and minority leaders. So you have, great question, Audrey, you were just asking. So on the Legislative Council, you have the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate. And then you have House Minority and Majority Leader, and in the Senate in the Senate, you have the Senate Majority and Minority Leader. And so all in all, you have 10, and then the Assistant Leader and the Assistant Majority Leader. You have 10, 5 from each chamber. And we have 4 Republican and 6 Democrat. Now, Jeremy, it doesn't have an LD number because it has to get over this first hurdle first. The first hurdle of getting through Legislative Council. And then if it gets through that first hurdle, it will get an LD number. The revisor's office will write the full bill and all of that process. So we don't have an LD number yet. But the title that I have proposed and that I will stick to my guns for is an act to suspend Maine's gas tax. So first hurdle, getting through Legislative Council. And that I will be relying on all of you to both sign the petition to ask your government to allow this bill to be heard. And then also, I'm going to need you guys to call, and I'll put all the details on my Facebook page when it's time to call those leaders. But I'm going to need you to call those leaders, get your friends and neighbors to call those leaders and exhort them to allow this bill to be heard. It's so, so critically important. There isn't a person in the state that this does not affect. from small and large businesses, families, thinking ahead to tourist season. You know, if folks know that Maine gas is going to be 30 cents cheaper per gallon, that might help drive our tourist season to be more positive than it might be otherwise, with the high price of gas that everyone is seeing across the country. So thank you guys for hopping on here. I think this is a great use of our surplus, and I am looking forward to advocating for this bill and trying to help it get passed, but I absolutely need your help. I'd love to see you post in the comments if you are going to be helping me with this, and I'll get the petition online right away after this live. Please share this video with your friends and family. We will need all hands on deck to have any chance of getting this bill passed. It already has a lot against it. One, it's submitted by a Republican. Two, that it is an after deadline bill. And so we are gonna have to put the pressure on to make sure that this bill gets a fair shake, and that you guys are able to come and speak to it. Maine citizens need to be able to make their voice heard in a public hearing on this bill, and we can't get it to that point until it gets voted through with a thumbs up of at least 6 in Legislative Council to get this bill heard. So I'd love to answer any questions that you guys might have. I will scan through some of these comments and see if there's anything that I can answer. Yeah, absolutely. We'll keep you guys up to date on my legislative page with who to call and when, and absolutely, you know, I can't do anything about what Joe Biden is doing for policy, but I certainly can help try to push good policy here in Maine, and tax relief on the price at the pump would be a huge help for a lot of folks. Email them tomorrow. Yeah, please do email them, Jeremy. They need to hear from you, whether they care or not. They need to hear from you. Thank you, Carol Conley. Yeah, $26 this morning to simply go to church. That is crazy. These are the numbers that really affect Maine people being able to just live ordinary lives, work, get to their jobs, get to their schools. We don't have, you guys, we don't even have a road bond. That's how much surplus we have at the moment. And so if we're so flush that there's no road bond, let's put some money back to Maine people where it counts and suspend the tax. Yes, tell all your friends that visit this summer. That's a great idea, Audrey. Tell all your friends that come to visit in the summer to write to them. Absolutely. Make sure that those who are here during the summer and appreciate the beauties and the wonderful aspects of Maine to help us get this passed as well. All right, thank you guys for having my back, and let's get to work and make sure that we can get this bill not just through Legislative Council, but through the entire process, and get Maine people the relief that you all deserve, that we all deserve. And so thank you for tuning in. And immediately following, please do go ahead and sign that petition. I'll be getting it right up. Thank you guys, and have a great night.